Okay, that's big. That's a big space.
I seem to think it's centered around what goes on in a theater.
He was just very interested to find out who was responsible for this haunting.
There's a lot of people that will attribute what they see and feel in here to the Morro Castle. A large shipwreck came and beached right outside this building.
Plus, he had kind of gathered experiences from other people and was passing on that information.
Up came out of the floor was a shadow that went up the wall and then over top of us. The temperature instantly dropped, I think.
And all of a sudden, it was like something burned me like tight.
Yeah.
Then I looked at my arm, like, I've been scratched. And as soon as I said that right there, it was like a push.
We caught something on the DVR, and it's very quick. In the seat, third row up.
Ooh.
I'm gonna read some of these names. Alice Walker, Charles Fretzer, Barber. Does anyone know these names?
All dead.
I'm Adam Berry.
And I'm Amy Bruni.
And this is Kindred Spirits Inside the Investigation. This is the Paramount Theater and Convention Hall in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
So this was a very large space for just the two of us. And we say that a lot, but in this case, it really was.
Okay, that's big. That's a big space.
This is incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The main activity we get up top, if you look all the way in the back where the projection booth is, in the late 1960s, there was a projectionist that passed away sometime towards the end of a Sunday night performance. You can swear someone's looking down on you.
We're dealing with an entire theater, and then in addition to that, we were dealing with the convention hall attached to it. So Jason is the technical director at the theater. He's worked there for a number of years, and he was just very interested to find out who was responsible for this haunting in the space. And he had many experiences.
Do you ever see like shadows walking through here, or
Definitely second floor balcony, definitely some shadows, generally coming from left to right.
Okay.
And again, some people have had a cleaner view of that.
Wow.
I just noticed one of our other little randoms that I forgot about. The lights on this perimeter here, they're all on one circuit.
Yeah.
And if you saw, that one was turning on and off separate from the rest of them.
I saw it.
He had heard voices, he'd seen shadow figures, he had somebody say like, hey, get over here, screams at one point. So there was a lot that he had to tell us and kind of take us through. Plus he had kind of gathered experiences from other people and was passing on that information to us. So that's when we knew like we had a lot on our hands, because the activity just like kept on coming. Like we just kept hearing more and more stories.
Do you find that a lot of activity that you have centers around the work that you do?
I seem to think it's centered around what goes on in a theater. Again, you know, some unfortunate incidences, you know, and then there's a lot of people that will attribute what they see and feel in here to the Morro Castle. A large shipwreck came and beached right outside this building.
What they really think kind of has led to the haunting there was that there were a couple of shipwrecks that landed right outside the convention hall. It was really up to us to kind of figure out if that was true or not, and also find out if the place was actually haunted.
So I brought you a newspaper from the day after the Morro Castle actually beached here. And what's interesting about this is not only the list of the victims, and there were a lot still missing, but it was still burning.
Yeah.
It took 5 days for the Asbury Park Fire Department to put the fire out enough for people to go on there.
Okay.
And at this point, they already knew it was 182 lives.
That's a lot of dead people.
They also attribute a lot of the activity, especially in the dressing room area, with a fire.
There was a fire that happened late 1950s. It was during a show, and trapped 2 girls in this room, no way out. And the girls died of smoke inhalation.
Oh.
There was also one of the lighting directors kind of showed me on stage how he had an experience where a whole shadow kind of appeared on the right side of the stage, went over the top and like engulfed the whole stage, and then moved and went into a wall on the opposite side.
Right behind us in this wall here, up came out of the floor was a shadow that went up the wall and then over top of us. Went across us, the temperature instantly dropped.
Like, it was such a huge experience to have. Like, I don't understand what kind of energy would have to be behind something like that. But when that happened, once that shadow went through the wall, someone who was working on the other side of it had an experience at the very same time.
And when it through that wall, after it went through that wall, about maybe 30 seconds to a minute later, one of our other employees, he had come down He said he got touched,
Really?
like something grabbed him.
Wow, okay.
There was a gentleman who I spoke with who said that he was pushed down some stairs.
As I was coming down the stairs here, I got down like maybe about a quarter way to the end, and all of a sudden it was like whoa, something burned me like type.
Yeah.
Then I looked at my arm, like I've been scratched. And as soon as I said that right there, it was like wasn't a hard shove, it was like a push shove.
Okay.
Like, that was it. And I looked back towards the back of the building here, and I just look, and I see black shadows. Like something just moved right across the wall.
So one of the coolest pieces of evidence we got was we actually captured an apparition up in one of the seats in the theater.
So last night, we caught something on the DVR, and it looks really interesting, and it only happened once, and it's very quick. In the seat, third row up.
Ooh.
Isn't that weird?
It was interesting because we could see exactly how tall it was based on the level of the floor behind the seats. We were able to go up and try to recreate this figure, which was really cool. And then we also, saw a number of shadow figures, especially from the stage. There was one that went all the way around and down a hallway. And so we saw exactly what the people at the theater had been seeing for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. Under the red sign, right where that bar is,
Yeah.
it looked like a shadow went right to left, but arch, as if something went over.
Jumped over.
That was probably one of the clearest shadow figures I have ever seen. There's nobody else here.
I think we need to go look for that noise.
Could it be any of these doors? That. Honestly, that sounds like it more than anything.
Huh.
We wanted to separate Amy and Chip, and so Amy went down to the beach and listened to the spirit box. Chip stayed on the stage and listened to the spirit box. And I posted up in what would have been the radio room of the convention center.
Hi, what is your name? Can you just tell me your name? I have a list of people that passed away on the boat. Maybe I could find you.
Daddy. Excuse me.
I'm gonna read some of these names. Alice Walker, Charles Fritzer, Samuel Lerner, Charles Barber. Does anyone know these names?
All dead.
What about a crew list? Anybody on the crew?
They left us.
We were never able to firmly figure out if what happened on the beach was responsible for the haunting that was happening in the theater. We very much knew that whatever was in the theater was kind of a typical theater haunting that we see a lot of shadows in the balconies.
This is about 5:30 in the morning, and just watch in this area.
Oh, yeah.
You see that little thing?
I think we were able to solve a lot of the mysteries of the theater as far as what was historically accurate. I think we were able to pull some news stories out that they weren't even aware of before.
Here in the convention hall and down here on the beach, you definitely have energy from that ship disaster.
And I think that really the message we sent to them was keep doing what you're doing. You love this place, so do these spirits.
You might have more entities coming in from these areas who are actually looking for help over time, especially the more that you investigate.
That just kind of jibes right in with that, lighter energy that all of us say in the Paramount, as opposed to just a darker feeling in convention.
No one here means anyone any harm, and just kind of continue as you were. And I think they're gonna keep on doing that. I think it was important that they realize that there's nothing there to be fearful of.
Thanks for watching, and for more Kindred Spirits content, head to Travel Channel Go.